Welcome to the video tutorial for RegX 4.0. RegX 4.0 has two exciting new features. One is the replacement for EasyReg, which we call EasyX, and the other is the replacement for Service Central, and we're just calling that credit card payments or RegX payments. Let's start with this version by looking at the look and feel. As you can see from your screen, there are the color palette on the home page has been kind of neutralized and standardized, and we've grouped the navigation items on the left hand side into a group for order entry and then another group for search. Seems to make a bit more sense. The other look and feel information, or the other look and feel changes that we have, would be in kind of a standardization of the order forms themselves. I've opened up a CER billing order, and you can see that at the top we've kind of taken some of the space away up there, remove the icon, and just put the name of what it is that we're doing and what kind of a page are we looking at. This would be add or view or edit. The other thing that we've slimmed down is the information area for a message box. We used to have two of them. Now there's just the one. Everything will go into the single message box. Other than that, the whole order is just as we've seen it before. Carrying through, again, standard, the SSP miscellaneous order entry is also slimmed down. Just uses a different color scheme so that you know that you're in an SSP versus in a CER or an EasyX order. A quick view of the EasyX. It's green is the mode, the motif, if you will. EasyX is the same. Small space at the top. You know you're in add. Just a single message box, and all of the data entry information and sections are the same as the other orders. We'll come back to EasyX in a minute. Okay, let's look at the last choice in the order entry panel. That's multi-pack current system. That used to be called Search SSPs. Since we have more multi-packs than just SSPs, meaning CERs, we adopted this multi-pack, and we know we want to do a registration under that CER. So click that, and that's our multi-pack search, and here we can search, for example, let's see, do the company ESPN, any status, and go. We have three orders. I'm going to do do an order against that. Again, here we can enter the ID or search for it. We get that filled in. We can do our meetings, on and on. I won't take you through this whole thing. It's exactly the same as everything was. But this is how we do the registration under a coupon. Let's go back home now. Now let's take a look at the searches. The first one up is contact search, and we are currently calling that in production. We say search any IMS name. It's the same thing, and you can search for companies or for individuals. This is little changed from what you're currently using in production, and just put in whatever criteria you have and go. Would like to note that there is a pretty good phone search if you haven't used it. All you need is 6 digits, no parentheses or hyphens or spaces or dots, just at minimum 6 digits or further if you know it. And then hit go. We rebuild an index for that every night. So this returned 814 rows, so quite a bit of people. I probably should have used something a little bit simpler than from that. Okay, let's go back to home and look at the next search. The orders search has changed a bit. We've added 2 buttons, one to say I want to search by name, the other to say I want to search by an ID. I have an ID or a number that I'm going to use. On the ID, it's the order number, invoice number, meeting number, or ID, and that is the bill to or ship to ID on the order. If you use a meeting number, actually, That will give you a roster of everybody in that particular meeting, including cancels. Try it out sometime. In name, we can choose by rep name, company name, individual's name, and for those, because so many could be returned, we do put in a date range to limit the searching. You can change this. It defaults to 6 months, but you can set it to any set of values. If you want to look at your orders for the last week or whatever, you can do that here. Let me jump back to the beginning. There's a button there now called My Orders. If you click that button, it will drop your name into this slot in the rep filter box automatically. You can then change your dates if you want and then hit go. Just as we currently do, the order search will return the rows, tell you how many it found, and you then can go in and choose an order to take a look at it and edit it or do whatever else you need to do with that. The balance of the searches haven't changed. They're all exactly the same as they had been before. There's actually a way to use these in combination. Let's do a contact search. We'll go back to our search for ESPN. And if you haven't noticed this before, over here on the right hand side is a list of the orders. These are the number of orders for that attendee. And if you click that, it would actually performs an order search for you for all of the orders for that attendee as if you'd asked for that attendee. And then of course you can go in and look at those. Alright, let's go ahead and do a standard order, one of the new features here. So the EasyX page, again, very much like the registration orders that you've already been doing. You put your attendee in here or do a search for him. You can enter a different bill to if you want, or search for a different bill to. And we'll do our meetings. And we'll search for a finance meeting. Remember, you can search by title or by number. Either will work. We'll just take this very first one for an example. And I've chosen a canceled meeting, and here it tells me that that's exactly what I've done. So I've got to pick a new meeting. Now I have a valid meeting. I'm all set to go. So we type in our discount, and we have to hit the validate discount button for it to do the validation. And RegX comes back and tells us that we have a valid discount and how much, what the name and type of discount that is, or the description of that discount. If, however, we put in an invalid code, for example, we have to do a validation, and it will come back and tell us that we have invalid code, invalid discount code. So we discard that, put in our real discount, get our discount for $200, and fill in any of the other valid items, and then hit our submit button. And the system gives us back our success message telling us the order number it created, etc., etc. And remember, all that information is also down here in what we call the order admin area. Order information, invoice, source, your batch number, and the subsystem. Now let's take a look at some of the new buttons that we have up here. And we'll start with the clone. You've had the edit button before, and the new registration starts a brand new registration. But the clone button is new, and what it will do is absolutely that. It will clone the entire order. So it copies ship to, bill to, the meeting session, does not copy the discount code. So if you want a discount on the second order, you've got to retype that in and revalidate. Copies all of the information that you put in the rep administration area. And just to note, because as we saw in the error before, you can't have the same person registered for the same meeting twice. If you try to submit this order, you will get a message back warning you that there's something wrong. Please review the order duplicate attendee meeting check. So it did not let you go through an error. This attendee's already been booked into this particular meeting. And it tells you the order number that it was. Let's take a look at the other feature that we have, and that's the payments. Payment button is on every view. Okay, so what RegX did is find all of the open invoices for this bill to ID and bring them all into our payments page, assuming that we might want to pay them all. In order to make a payment, what we do is just like we did in Service Central, we put in the amount that we're going to pay on each invoice. And let's say that there's a maximum on the credit card, and so that we can only pay, we're going to have to pay it over the course of 2 days. We can do something like this. We can take out these items by just erasing them, and on this one we're just going to pay $900. The system re-adds the total payments amounts that you have and the net due for this customer account for all the open invoices. If for any reason you were to kind of mess up your payment entry, this reset payment button will go back to the original amounts, which is equal to the payment amount equal to the balance amount in each row. So again, we'll take out these two amounts, set this one just to 900 because there's a card limit on that for now. Now what you do is you select your card, put the account number in, select the month and the year, and put in the CVC code and the name on the card, and hit pay. Now I'm not editing this video. This is how fast this works and comes back from PayPal. We have an authorization code and a transaction ID from them, and this piece over here tells us that RegX saved these transactions into IMIS AR for this particular customer. Okay, now we've come back to the second day. We want to pay the rest of the original invoice. Again, we'll take out this amount, and we'll take out this amount, and we would put in leave 545, and that's what we'd pay. Just let's go through a couple of error exercises. One is what happens if the credit card is declined. In this case, because we're using a test credit card, the amounts have to be less than $1,000 on that test credit card. So we'll make a payment that's higher than that, and let's see what we get for an answer. And we return the error message that we get from PayPal, which is declined. In this case, we know that it's declined because we can only put in under $1,000. So let's put in our 900 that we know works, but let's make a mistake in entering our account number or one of the other items. Try that, and you get a different error message, declined or denied because we have an invalid account number. And if we forget a month or a year, the same thing happens. It'll tell us that the month or year is missing. But if everything looks okay, now we have another payment. In this case, we overpaid, but not a problem. We'll just take that extra money and go have a party. Okay, what we've seen is how you pay an individual order by hitting the pay button on the order view screen. Now let's see a couple of other ways that we can get to make payments on orders. One way is to search for an order. So let's go do a search, get some orders, and we'll find some orders with an open balance. By doing that, we can pay directly from the open balance. Here's a list of orders for this particular rep, and notice here in the AR balance column that we show how much is due, and these are now links, these are hot links to the payments page. So if we click on this item here, 2445, it brings us up all the orders for this particular customer ID, and we can just go ahead and pay them just the way we did before. Again, have to keep everything under $900. And now that particular invoice is at least partially paid. The other way to make payments is through the contact search page. Here we've done a search and we've found this customer, Dwayne Broy. If we click this person's ID, we get a menu of choices, creating a new order for him, or this is new, making a payment. So this is the same person as in the last example, and then go ahead and make that payment of $693.31. Okay, this is a good example. Notice here that on this invoice 77, we got an approved result and a saved yes because we paid the $639.93, which was under our daily limit of $1,000. However, I failed to blank out the second invoice to make it 0 or no payment requested. We did make a payment then on invoice 994, and so invoice 994 was declined because it's over our daily limit. And even on declines, you do get a transaction ID so you can track back if necessary, but no authorization code, so this payment is not authorized, and of course we didn't save it into the IMS AR database. One final note, this return back button on the payment screen will take you back to the contact that you were working with. So here we just clicked and it brought us back to this particular customer. Well, that's the other two ways. Through order search and contact search, you can make payments in addition to hitting the pay button on any view order screen where there's a balance. That's it for payments. That's all we have for this tutorial on RegX 4.0 registration entry and for credit card payments. Look forward to your feedback during testing and at any time when you're using RegX for whatever purpose. Thanks very much. Good hunting.